All right, I haven't been the biggest fan of Copilot and the other AI coding tools to this point. It's just my experience with them has been almost universally bad. Uh, just haven't had much luck in getting them to do the things that I want them to do, and I spend more time fixing the code than that it generates than I do actually, making use of the tool. So it's been a while since I played around with it, and I was in a meeting last week and uh, had a the guy that was running the meeting demonstrated, using Copilot to do a few things, and I thought, okay, maybe it's time I give it another fair shot here. So I've got an application here. This is the .NET Aspire base template in Visual Studio, um, and I do have Copilot up here, although it's not coming up here. What's going on? Okay, now we got that going. Sometimes Streamlabs doesn't want to do what I want. All right. So anyway, so this is let me show you the solution here. This is, um, like I said, an Aspire 9.3 project. So the first thing I want to do is have Copilot update my uh, files. So let's get it updated. Let's update solution to .NET Aspire 9.4.1 libraries. Let's see what it does with that here. And as far as like Copilot goes, so there are a number of different, while I was working on that, there are a number of different uh, models that you can use here when you've got the premium tier. So if, for the standard models, if you've only got the free tier, then you've got, GPT 4, 5, and 4.0. If you've got the premium subscription, then you can also get access to like the Claude Sonnet and Gemini. So I'm going to use Claude Sonnet 4 because I've heard that one's generally the best one right at the moment. So that's what I've got selected here is Claude Sonnet 4. Let's go back up here and look at what it came up with here. So app host saying, okay, I'm suggesting, okay, it looks like that one. So go ahead and click apply on that one. And you can see it open the project file. It will apply that change and ask you to accept that. So hit tab to accept. And same thing down here, accept that. And we'll save that change. And then my test project, let's see here. What is it suggesting there? Not sure what changes it's making there, but let's take a look here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the extensions for resilience and service discovery, because Aspire uses those. And that's good. We'll go ahead and accept that. Save that off. And then last thing here in our test projects. We'll update that. Oh, those are service defaults. Okay, so test, save that. Oh, whoops. Have to accept that. I know that there's a way you can set it to auto accept the updates, but I want to know what it's changing first. Okay, so we've got that. So let's go ahead and run that project. Okay, so I don't have the browser window up, but everything looks good here. So why don't I change that one thinking about it? So stop that. Let's change it to use let's change our, okay, so I've rearranged the windows here. So now you can see what happens when I run it. So when I run it, you can see that come up here. Let's bring that over here. Okay. You can see my basic application is up and running, and everything is working, and it's not complaining about the version. So .NET Aspire is a great thing. If you're not using the latest version, it'll give you a pop-up here on the dashboard that says, hey, the latest version is 9.4.1. Why don't you go upgrade to that? So you can see everything there looks good. All right, so let's try something else here. Let's add, I want to add support for Postgres database to my API project using the .NET Aspire entity framework Postgres support pages. Let's see what we get here. I need to get Docker up and running. I'm going to get that to work. Okay, so first problem I see as it scrolls by. Let's let this finish first. Okay, so let's go back up here to what it did. Okay, so you can see some of the things it found. So found the API service project, the app host project, and it had a problem because in the app host it's looking for the program.cs file. So in the templates for Aspire in the last couple versions, they no longer have a program.cs file. They now use a athos.cs file. So let's see what it does, what we can do there. So in the newest versions of .NET Aspire, the app host project uses a app host.cs file instead of program.cs. So make the changes there. Let's see if I can figure that out. Let me update your app. Oh, okay. So let me update your app host.cs file to include that. Okay, so let's go up here and say, okay, in my app host.cs project, we're going to add support for Postgres. And there it is. That's the hosting.postgres.sql. So that's the first thing it wants to do. Here's the updated apphost.cs file. Okay, so it's going to add variable there. Going to say Postgres version 16. Going to call the environment PostgresDB, Copilot DB, add database. Okay, and adding support to that. Okay, to my API project. That's good. And then in my API service, it's going to add Postgres. There's the Postgres Aspire library there. That's good. And it's going to add in that your DB context. Okay. Well, we haven't created a DB context yet, so that's going to be an issue. But let's see if we can get it to. So go ahead and apply those changes. Let's see what it does with that. Hmm. It's still not applying the changes. It's just saying, hey, this is what I'm going to change. All right, well, let's go back up here and let's apply that. Why didn't it apply that? That's sometimes I've noticed too is, so supposedly, so, list the changes here and supposedly tab to accept, and I hit tab and nothing happens. Okay, so it hasn't updated, so we need to apply it to the proj file. So I know if I hit tab but I don't hit tab, I've got to click into that first, hit the tab. Don't like that. That's my API service. Let's add that. And again, it didn't work. I have to figure out what's going on with that. But okay, I don't know what. Maybe my tab key is also set to something else. I don't know. It's not. Okay, that's really frustrating because over and over again it is not taking the tab. Tab. There, finally. I don't know what's going on with that. So rebuild. Okay, but it also did not make. Okay, so yeah, not everything. Not continue to add PostgreSQL. What's going on here? And see, it's still got problems. So here, the reference is there. Not all here because this is not working. My app host has the Postgres SQL. Oh, again, see, it's these are the exact same kind of problems that Copilot has always had. It gets references wrong. It gets the names wrong. Variable names are wrong. It's just one thing after another, and you spend as much time fixing things as you do writing actual code. Yes, I mean there's some good and some bad. Yeah, probably a little less time than it would take you to write all this yourself, but I don't know. So we still need to add. Well, we'll come back to the context thing. So let's add a DB context to my API project and call it Copilot test context. So the things that it does well, I mean, it does really well, and it is helpful. It's especially good at repetitive tasks. So if you have something that uh, if you have something that you have to do over and over again, but slightly differently, it does that pretty well. But so, a lot of times when you're adding new things, when you're doing new things, it just messes stuff up. One of the things that I found that it is really helpful for is seeding data, and I'll show you an example of that here in a little bit. Um, let's go back and look here at what it wants to do. It wants to create a DB context, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll accept that. DB set weather forecast. Okay, I hasn't created the model for this yet. Yeah, so create the weather forecast entity model. So let's create that. And it's created a new folder called models, and it's putting it in there. At least I think it created a new folder. And then upgrade the program, or update the program CS to use the DB context. So let's add that in. Okay. Okay, so look at the Solution Explorer here. So create a weather forecast model in the models folder, but what is the issue here? There is no argument that requires the required parameter of date. There is date there. Three parameter. Okay, so it's requiring you they be passed in as parameters. So again, here's another thing that's getting wrong. So if we look at our weather forecast model. Oh, let's see if that looks okay. Oh, you know what? I think it does, because down here, yeah. So here we've got an existing record. This is part of the template that the .NET Aspire template is it creates this record called weather forecast. And now, with Copilot, I told it to create my database context. And what it did is it used the exact same name as this record, and now there's a conflict between the two. So if we get rid of that, again, these are the kinds of things that you spend all of your time trying to fix that Copilot screws up. Okay, so we've got all that, weather forecast, add range forecast. And again, so what is it not like there? So forecast is not null here. Let's check to see if it's not null. No, it doesn't like that either. Let's see what Copilot comes up with for a fix. And see, I put it in the wrong spot. Move that up there. Still doesn't like that. Cannot convert. Adding a range. We take all that out. Put a numeral to list. Does that work now? No. use the model. Look forecast. Let's look at the context here. Something it doesn't like. We got to fix our context first. There we go. Okay, so the problem was in the context. It's just, it's kind of crap that you spend all of your time doing to fix that it can't figure out. So, I mean, there's help, but it's frustrating. Let's give it something a little simpler. Let's add a data seeding class that will seed 100 instances of weather forecast into the database. So this is something that it should do pretty well. You see it's creating the seeding class. Update the program CS to use the seeder. Okay. Okay, so let's go back up here and look at the seeding class. So let's go ahead and click apply there. What it does here, again, the tab doesn't work. There we go. So it's creating this set of summaries, checking to see if any data exists already. If there is data, then it will not add anything to the database. Then if there isn't, then it will generate forecasts of 100 and gives you a bunch of random data, temperatures, and clears the data, and then do reseed async. Okay, so it's got a reseed as well, so it'll automatically clear and reseed it. That's fantastic. So let's go over here and look at program. And we haven't applied those changes yet. Okay. All right, so back up here. I should have stopped at each of these. It's okay, so it's making sure the database is created, and then it will run the seeding item. It also added a couple new endpoints for us. We've got these weather forecasts, so you can get specific ones, you can get all the weather forecasts. You can do reseed. So it actually added, if we're in the development environment, it added this reseed endpoint and this clear endpoint so that we can reset our weather data. Let's go ahead and run all this and see it in action. All right. So a couple of things that you can see here. So we've got our Postgres database is set up now, and that is running. It's good. That's up and running. API service running, web front end. Okay, so one of the things I noticed it didn't do is it didn't add anything to our front ends, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and do that. Oops, not what I wanted. I wanted to open it. There we go. And weather, you can see it grabs like limits it at 10, I believe. That's fine. But you can see it, the data is in there in the database, and it works well. So if we go to our API endpoint, reseed weather, was it reseed? What was the endpoint name here? Oh, weather forecast / reseed. Let's change that. Whoops. Yeah, I didn't need the extra slash. Page isn't working. 405 error. Why? Why don't you like that? Put a breakpoint in there. I need API? No, that isn't in there. Oh, it's a post. Okay, it's not get. Do we really need to post? I mean, yeah, technically that's it. By these standards, it should be a post, but let us restart here. Okay, do the reseed. There we go. So it works as a get. See, so you can see it goes in here, it clears the data, and does the seeding. Okay, database reseeded with 100 forecasts. So let's go to weather, and of course this link is like the first 10. Go down here to web, weather API client. Upgrade the max items. Is weather. I think it's set in here to get only 10. Where's that 10 being set at? On the API? Get list async. Oh, there we go. Max items 10. Let's change that to 100. Save that and let's restart. And there we go. So again, 100 forecasts now. So, I mean, you can see it does really well with certain things. So like seeding data, setting up a data seeding service, it's fantastic for that. But it's still hits a lot of issues. So I mean, there's improvements. It's better, and it does depend on the model that you use. I was playing around yesterday with the GPT-4 model, and it's just not great. So I mean, if you really want the best that you can get out of GitHub Copilot, it is really worth the stop here. Get Copilot back up. It's really worth subscribing to the premium. I haven't tried 5 yet. That's in preview. But Claude Sonnet 4, for a lot of things, it does work really well. So, if you've kind of um, given up on Copilot in the past, or any of these other coding tools, I've also played around a little bit with the AI helper that JetBrains offers with Rider. It's about the same. It does some things really well, and it does a lot of things really badly. Uh, if you're fine with that, you get used to that kind of workflow pattern. It can be helpful. It can improve your efficiency, but it's nowhere near to the point where it replaces developers. And any of the CEOs or people who think that they're going to vibe code their way to $1 million app or $1 billion app. No, that's not going to happen. Um, these coding tools just aren't capable of that level of development right now, um, and they won't be anytime soon. To be honest, that they are better. They are great at helping you to improve your efficiency. Um, I don't know. There was some CEO the other day who basically said that it was stupidity, essentially, that people think that they're going to replace junior developers with AI. Now, and if you do that kind of crap with your company, you're shooting yourself in the foot for the future. Sure, you might get some cost improvements over the short term. But the long term, you're screwing yourself, because your senior coder is going to leave. Right? There is no loyalty in the industry anymore. People are gonna, anytime that they feel like they've got a better opportunity, they're gonna leave. And that's a rare exception. Then you're gonna be stuck with the loss of experience. You're not gonna have anybody at a lower level who can step up into the higher levels in the future. And if you think you're gonna bring in senior talent and have them uh, be great day one, no, it doesn't happen. It's I've spent a lot of years, now 20 years now in software development professionally, and I've been on both the management side and the developer side, and in between as an architect, and uh, it astonishes me that the ridiculous ideas that some management types get, and uh, and what they think they're going to accomplish, and the AI wave is just the latest in dumb ideas. Uh, it's a tool. It's there to improve the efficiency of developers. It is never ever going to replace developers. And the executives who think that it does are the ones that are going to run their company into the ground. Um, and for some companies, it'll take longer than others. There's you get a big company with a lot of inertia, but it's never going to change. It's never going to be the case. And even more so, they talk about the AI bubble. AI is not cheap, and right now AI is being offered at a huge loss lead as a huge loss leader, and it's getting more and more expensive for them to operate every day. It's at some point the bubble's going to burst, and it's going to be like the .NET burst, bubble bursting, and was it the late '90s, early 2000s when all those companies went bankrupt. AI is going to be no different. The time is coming soon where it's going to become so expensive to maintain, and all these investors who are looking for their return on their investment are going to lose tons of money. And the ones that survive are the ones that are going to start jacking up the prices. And we're already seeing the prices for tokens going way up, and they're going to continue to go way up because AI is expensive to run. It requires huge investments in data centers and processing power, and um, that's not going to get any better anytime soon. And at some point, the money that they're burning through every day is just going to run out. So, uh, that's what's coming. And if you gone through and you've replaced all of your developers with AI, and your company is going to spiral into the ground. But anyway, so I mean, back to the subject at hand. Copilot in general, it's better than it was, especially if you're using the right models. But it's still got a long ways to go to be exceptionally useful. Um, as long as you learn how to put in good prompts and to do the right thing, you're going to have some success. Otherwise, you're not. It is what it is. Uh, I'll keep playing around with it and giving it more of a chance and see what I can get it to do well, and continue to see where it's going to keep screwing up. So, thank you for your time.